I cannot express to what extent I don't want to do this. Now, I'll go. I can still turn back home though.
Networking.
Business networking.
Networking is networking.
How to get great at networking.
I tried professional networking for 30 days. Networking is not just talking to people. It's about creating business connections, getting into the circles of the right people, and all of those things that we know are good for our career. But let's be honest, no one likes it, especially if you're an introvert. In next 30 days, I want to learn more about how people network these days, what maybe more experienced networkers recommend, and try a few strategies myself. Will it actually work? Will I get any helpful connections, or will I at least have a good time? Which is kind of a question mark because all of this exercise is very much out of my comfort zone, but answers to all of those questions we will apparently see in 30 days from now. Here's how I decided to do it. For the next 30 days, I will be attending one networking event each week. And to make it a bit more fun, define fun, half of them will be connected to my current area of expertise, and half of it will be from business areas I literally have zero clue about. For me to have experience on networking where I have something tangible to talk to people about, and also to put myself in situations where I rather need to explore and ask people about something I don't know about. Here's my starting point. I'm a senior manager. I work in corporate for last 15 years and I manage small and mid-sized teams for last 8. I consider myself rather introverted, although with years I kind of learned how to work with that and I trained my social muscle a bit, if that makes sense. I'm pretty comfortable with one-to-ones with my friends, and when I need to be social at work, that's also fine, and I can even be public at work, so do the public speaking. But when I'm just in a big group, like very quickly, I just feel a very strong urge to leave. So big groups for me are kind of awkward and maybe a little bit uncomfortable, especially if it's not like a very structured and organized event with clear rules of the game and timing. This is more comfortable. But when it's like a networking event, just like a bunch of people and you self-organize, this is not where I shine. I do online networking sometimes, also because it's one-to-one and it's more comfortable. And when I did my MBA, we actually learned how to network. But big chunk of my MBA was during pandemic, so even this experience was mostly online for me. So you can say some of the knowledge about networking I have, but I've never really practiced it offline, and it is offline where the awkwardness of social interactions is mostly consolidated. Now, let's see how experts recommend to do networking these days. All right, let's see what we've got.
That most people overlook when it comes to networking
Okay.
and going to networking events is to find out who is going to be there. The purpose of this is to go into the networking event prepared and with a strategy.
Is this
so you know
necessary?
exactly.
It kind of feels like a relatively, I don't know, why does it feel like an old school practice to research who will be on the networking event? To a certain extent makes sense. Now, am I being critical already regarding the advice? No, I have to go for it.
So stand near the door or near the bar. Both of these areas are great vantage points to see who is entering the room. And
I already don't like this. I already regret doing this.
a business card case will absolutely make you look polished and
I'm ready to go for a lot of networking advice, but I'm not. Business card? Like seriously, who is doing business cards now? Do people do that? No, they don't. No. Like, no.
And you do this by asking non-threatening questions. Have you
Okay,
been to
interesting.
this event before? How did you find out about this event? And the dreaded question, what do you do?
Okay, that
I
makes
know a lot
sense.
of you
When people exit the bar, they kind of have their drink and
Huh.
they're like, who do I talk to? And if you are their social savior, you're that person there, that's that sweet spot where you make really high quality conversations.
They're all making good points. Okay. Now, okay, I think I got it. All right. Let's go for it. So, I'm on my way to the first networking event. I cannot express to what extent I don't want to do this. I actually would do literally anything else right now. I anticipate awkwardness and uncomfortable situations. I had a hard working day, so my bag is heavy. I was thinking, yeah, maybe it's not worth it. No, I will go. I can still turn back home though. I can still go back home. No, I have to go. Okay, let's go. The event I'm going for today is Marketing 1. And I never worked in marketing. I have very limited knowledge about marketing. So today is the one where I stretch myself. I kind of remember half of the recommendations I saw on YouTube. And I will actually try my best to follow them.
2 hours later.
So I just left. I need some time to gather my thoughts, but it wasn't as bad as I expected. But still very tiring. So I am very tired, but I have energy to share with you some thoughts. I would say all in all, this event felt like a relatively lucky one because people were just lovely. They were very nice. The conversation was not awkward at all. I was asking them about stuff. They were asking me. So all in all, it felt relatively comfortable. And I actually learned a lot of things about marketing just from talking to them. And they were very generous with advice. They were giving me advice about LinkedIn. I was giving them advice about how to do interviews. So overall, pretty wholesome, I would even say. So I followed the advice from YouTube and I came relatively early, which I think was the best decision because when I just came, there were not a lot of people there and I saw the organizers of the events. So all throughout the events, I knew who the organizers were. And I'm actually not sure what is it that brought me comfort, but I don't know, maybe it felt like a safe talk in case I will have no one to talk to. At least I know who the organizers are. But I made a mistake. I did not eat before. It was all right, but when I was done, I felt, I think, much more tired than I would have been if I would eat something. So for the next event, I will need to remember to eat before I go. Also, it was in a bar. It was relatively loud, so right now my throat hurts. But overall, it was kind of 5 out of 5. I don't know, maybe the most traumatic networking experience is still waiting for me, but so far, so good. How do you call this? The beginner's luck. Maybe it's beginner's luck. It was a marketing related event, so I'm thinking maybe marketing people are just more social. That's why it was more comfortable to talk to them. So I need more data. Not now. Now I need to go and eat something. And I will see you before my second event. So that was the exact moment when I put this curse on myself. Why did I ever say that the worst one is yet to come? Because I went for the second event. It was IT related one. I forgot to record before. It was so bad that I didn't even have an energy to record anything after. The event didn't feel right, and the only thing I regret is not leaving it early. Hey guys, I'm going to another networking event today. It's about future of content, which is not my area of expertise. Fingers crossed it will be good because the last week I went to a tech-related one, which is something that I know about. It was like tech/AI related, and it was very bad. The audience was a bit off. It was kind of chaotic. I didn't have much luck breaking in already existing conversations, and to be honest, I left quite disappointed. I have my hopes about today's one, and I feel like I'm already getting a bit tired of all of these networking events because in my regular life, I don't do it that often or at all. But experiment is experiment. So I'm gonna go and take as much as I can from this experience and share with you. See ya! Hey, editing me here. So that particular event I would give 3 out of 5. It was the first one with speakers and with actual presentation. So the content itself was interesting. And I think from that moment, the going to the event kind of became a part of the routine. And at the day number 30, I had a lot to say. Well, let's see what we've got. In the last 30 days, I went to more networking events that I've been in, I think, last 3 years combined. And here's what I've learned. And the first one is, I'm kind of sad to say it, but it did get better and less anxious the more I did it. So I think it's safe to say that the more you go to these events, the more relaxed you're getting and the more you're getting used to this dynamic and you feel, I cannot say comfortable, but less uncomfortable while you do it. I have noticed that at the beginning, at the first events I was attending, I hesitated to talk about myself. And now I'm thinking that it could be like a defense mechanism because I didn't feel comfortable with a lot of people I don't know, and maybe with this dynamic of events, it felt safer to put focus on another person and ask them more questions. With this, trying to avoid them asking myself questions because, I actually don't know why, because it felt safer, if that makes sense. But here's what I've noticed. The events that were out of my area of expertise went much smoother because I knew that I'm going to like a marketing event and I don't know anything about marketing. So I kind of prepared in advance in my head the story that I'm gonna tell, or like what I'm supposed to tell people and explain them why I'm a person from IT and tech and what am I even doing on this event. And because I thought about it in advance, it went smoother and I wasn't feeling that awkward when people would ask me. Of course, I felt awkward, but like in general, the interactions were much smoother and it was more back and forth, not only me asking other people. You have to eat before the event. I did this mistake once or twice and that was a big regret because I did not feel comfortable. Like no one is actually eating like a proper dinner on a networking event. It's more of a drinks or like light snacks. I felt, I don't know, even the events that were not that bad felt a little bit worse because I was hungry and a bit irritated. But I would go to this event straight after work. So like things like that could slip away. Don't do that. Don't. Sometimes it felt kind of awkward to leave the event, especially if I would wish to leave a bit earlier than everyone. And even if I didn't feel like staying late, and I think the rule of thumb here should be if you feel uncomfortable, just leave. Not every event is worth for you to stay till the very end, and like no one is forcing you. It can feel a little bit like you're breaking the conversation when you're saying that you have to leave, but I mean, that's okay. Let me even put it like that. I give you an official allowance to leave a networking event when you want to leave it, because today you stretched yourself a little bit and maybe for today it's already enough. Next time it will be easier. Or maybe just the event is not even worth for you staying that long. That also happens. Now, there is one big and pretty unobvious benefit of this networking exercise that I did in past 30 days that I haven't been thinking about at all. So I do career and leadership mentoring as a side job. And on some of the events, I think I found a few of my potential future clients, which was not the goal that I had in mind at all. The thing is, I did not go to events for mentors. I went to events for entrepreneurs or professional experts in a certain area. And when I was telling them what I do for a living and my YouTube and the side jobs, a lot of people actually got interested. And this may sound super obvious to you, but I actually haven't thought that it's a strategically good idea to go to networking events where your potential clients are. So yeah, that was an interesting insight. And I know that this may sound like this logic may sound very obvious, but I actually haven't thought about it that way, that you go to a networking event where your potential clients are, which now when I say that kind of makes sense, but I didn't have this as a goal. And this is an interesting strategy to develop a like freelance business or a side hustle if you have one. I also realized that there are two different like goals or directions that I can follow if I choose which networking event I want to attend. Because if I want to talk to like-minded people, I would rather prefer going to my area of expertise. If I'm a technical person, I would go to tech-related networking events. But if I'm more in the mood for learning something, exploring something, apparently it's totally fine to go to events that's like in the area that you have nothing to do with. There is like no shame in that. And apparently people are even welcoming when I was telling them, hey, yeah, I have nothing to do with the finances, but I'm just here because I want to learn and explore. So it wasn't that bad. Now, would I continue this practice of going to different types of networking events? Yeah, I don't think so, to be honest. I'm less scared of it. It feels much more comfortable, but it's not that I developed a love to doing this type of things in 30 days. So I wish I would say yes, but I don't think I would. Although, to be super honest, if next time I will actually need to do a networking event for something, not just for an experiment, but something I would need, I think I would do it easier that I would do before I kind of pushed myself through this 30 days of talking to people, I don't know. And if you, by any chance, will find yourself at the event and realize that although your working day is over, you're still thinking about your work, I recently made a video about how to finally stop thinking about your work all the time without guilt. So check it out if you like. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you there.